Greetings, YouTube. So apparently there are some fans out there that decided that the D&D cartoon needed some closure. So they have created their own final episode of the D&D cartoon. Now, I've spoken about the D&D cartoon here before because there was a video guy that did a breakdown and talked about the history of it. Well, now some fans have stepped up to the bat and they've decided that the cartoon deserves closure. And I agree. And so I'm going to be talking about it, and there's going to be some spoilers in here. So if you have not gone to watch that final episode, and it's a full half-hour episode, which is actually longer than I believe the original episodes were, which should have been 22 minutes, I think, go and look at the video first. I don't want to destroy it for you. And then you can come back here and hear the rest of my thoughts. Now, hopefully, if I remember, I will put the word spoilers in the title. But if you have gone to watch it and you've come back, so I'm now going to talk about it. So the basic premise is that the bad dude challenges the dungeon master and says, like, I bet you that if I tempt your charges, that they will wander and I can seduce them into the dark side, kind of thing. And the dungeon master is like, no, it won't happen. It won't happen. And he's willing to bet these people's lives on this, which I thought that was a little problematic. Maybe betting his own life on that would have been just fine. But no, he bet the lives of children on this bargain, this wager. That's a little questionable. Okay, so then he gives them a hard time and makes it look like he's turned his back on them and he's not there to support them any longer. And then he leaves, and now they're all bitching amongst each other, and some decide, okay, we need to do something. And then the bad dude shows up and says, well, if you go here, get this key, and you toss it into the void, you get to go home. Then, of course, the question is immediately well, why can't you go get the key? You're a uber powerful bad dude. You've got all kinds of magical abilities. You got minions coming out of your ass. Why can't you go and do this? And if you physically can't do it, why can't you send a minion in? Why do you need us to go do it? They don't ask these questions because they're children. So some of the party splits up, which is always bad. Never split up your party. And some of them decide we have to go and follow his directives, get the key and throw it into the void. And the rest of the group's like, no, we have to stop them because we believe that key is important to getting us home, but not in the way they think. We think that it needs to be used as in its proper manner, as a key as opposed to an object being destroyed. So there's an hour race, two of the groups trying to get desperately to the same place, and along the way each thinks the other group was destroyed and they are responsible for it, and lessons learned was, yes, it's still a kid's cartoon. It's not uber gritty or anything. And they finally get there, and there's the big climactic fight, and there's this evil Uzi thing that's kind of destroyed them, which is a little bit of thrown in drama, because now there's time constraints going on because this thing is going to consume them, kind of stuff. And they get the key, and the guy's about to throw it in there, and the guy, no, you have to stop it. And when they fight over the key, one of the people gets chucked into the void, and now the guy thinks now he's guilt-ridden. I've got the key, but I killed my friend, and should I really still throw it into the void? And then he, like, a little voice in his head's like, use the thing as the way it's intended to use, kind of thing. He puts it, boom, opens a door, finds out that the bad dude all along has just been like a human under a curse or something like that, or he made a bad deal, kind of thing, with something, and that you find out that he is actually the son of the dungeon master. And I also noticed that there wasn't a lot of diversity in this group. There was like one black person. There was not a great deal of feminine support as far as characters. There's two characters in the group that are girls, but like, was there ever a reason that you couldn't have had the bad person in charge be a woman? A little more diversity. I guess it was the 80s or 90s. I can't remember now. And they decide they're going to go home. Now, when they do this, they break the curse over the land, and now things are much healthier, the land begins to recover, and all these little portals open up over the world, allowing all the different people that have been drawn to this world in the same way the kids had to go home. But does that completely denude the world of populations, or was there indigenous populations already, and are they now having families torn apart and friends? And they didn't get into the complexities of what this kind of thing would do, which again, it's a kid's cartoon. I understand that to a degree. And then at the end, one of them, Presto, the mage with his big pointy hat, decides that he's going to stay here while his friends decide to go back to their mundane lives in our world. Now, how do they explain that? Remember, they got onto a car on an amusement park ride, went in, got sucked into the world of Dungeons and Dragons, and then they popped back out in the world, which probably they were right back in the car. So as far as the world is concerned, they went into one side of a ride, and they came out the other side of the ride, except now there's a missing kid. Now the rest of the kids had nothing to do with that. How do they explain it without all ending up in some kind of frigging asylum? They have to lie. They have to come up with a lie really quickly, because it's going to be very noticeable when there is not a kid there that was there mere moments before, who has decided to stay in the world of magic because he wants to become a full-blown adult wizard. I can come understand that. Being a wizard is awesome. I mean, I realize at lower level you're a bit of a glass cannon, but still awesome. So it has closure. Father and son reunited. Land is healed. Everyone goes home that wants to go home. But how do you? I just think the kids were put in a really bad position by the end of this particular story. But yeah, so go look at the video, enjoy it, get the closure you've always wanted if you were a fan of the cartoon. I'd like to thank my friend Greg for sending me the link to this, because I hadn't known about it. Not that Greg will ever see this. I don't believe Greg has ever actually watched any of my videos that I did not send him a link to. Maybe I'll send a link to him this one or not. I'm not sure. Because I had time to think about it, because when I replied to him immediately, I hadn't really processed the episode yet, and now I've had time to. So let's talk about the closure of the D&D cartoon, because again, I've talked about it in the past, and it seemed appropriate to talk about it today.